Yeah, I wanted to tell everybody that I'm actually an animal. I don't have any highfalutin ideas about myself. I'm not a genius, and I'm not rich, and really most people can't stand me. I mean, I try to be nice to people, but seems like a lot of people that are supposed to be like closest to me hate my guts, or they talk like they hate my guts. I can't tell. But I that doesn't bother me as much as it should, I suppose, because I'm just an animal. You know, I don't see myself as anything more than just a creature lurching through the world, making my way, eating food and pooping and drinking and peeing and growing in very typical ways. Very typical. You know, age. I'm getting a lot of these age things like that. You can't avoid it. It just comes along, and it's like a disease or something creeping up on you. Your eyes aren't as strong as they used to be. Your skin isn't as flexible as it used to be. Yeah, I'm not nearly as horny as I used to be. I see that as a, you know, heck. I mean, I used to think for a while there that was a blessing that I wasn't so horny. But I don't think so. Man, it's better to be horny, but you're not as frustrated. I admit that. But on the other hand, when you see a beautiful woman, you still turn your head and look at her, and then you think to yourself, "Gee, I mean, like, what could I do? I'm not as horny as I used to be." There's this paradox that exists in that whole situation too. I mean, it's the women like older men, and men like younger women a lot of times, but when you're horny, the women don't want you. They act like, oh, you're too horny, you're too horny. But if they actually want to have sex with you, they should pick out the young horny men. I don't understand it. They have to wait. Oh, you have to have money or sophistication or stability or something. But when it comes, I maybe I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Okay, I just know me, and I've always been the hornier than average individual in my life. I'm sorry to tell everybody that. I suppose it hasn't paid off all that well for me, but it paid off. I guess if you count the number of different women, it might have counted, but I don't know. That I believe you should respect each other. Yeah, you know, and that's something that's not in this current age is respect. Now let me just say something. Yes, I'm an animal, and what is a human being? But this animal that is more intelligent than all the other animals. I I had an argument with my son today about this particular thing, but he's telling me that, oh, you don't know what animals think. You don't know how much they know and how much they think. My brother told me that same thing once. My brother Rob, he told me the same thing. He said, "Oh, you don't know what animals think. You don't know." Yeah, I do. I kind of do. I don't think that I know everything that everybody else thinks, but animals are, and I live with dogs, and they live with cats, and I live with. There's a possum living under the porch, and basically, I understand where they're coming from to a large degree. Okay, yeah, I mean, you can't tell me that my perception of reality and my sentience and my understanding of what it is to think be alive is that much different than other creatures in the world. And I'll get on to people later, but I'm just talking about other creatures. Other creatures, other animals, they're simpler. They have the same motivations, but their ability to understand complex situations is less. And don't tell me otherwise, okay? Don't tell me I can't imagine what it's like to be like a dog. I can imagine what it's like to be like a dog. Pretty much, okay? I mean, not any particular dog at any particular moment, but I can understand what it's like. Or a cat. You know, they're hungry. They're dogs are social. Cats are vicious. You know what I mean? All you gotta do is watch them, and birds are territorial. You know, they're they're fearful. They're the same as people in a lot of ways. People and animals aren't that different, which is now that I'm a vegan, I can speak that in kind of a moralistic way. But come on, animals eat other animals too. I mean, I'm not trying to defend the meat eaters, but they do. You know, we're all animals. We're all just animals. And if you try to think that somehow human beings are above animals, well, you're a hoity-toity kind of person. What makes humans different than other animals? And this is a semantical argument as well, okay? Because we made up the word animal. We speak the words, okay? It comes out of human beings' mouth. There's no animal that says, I'm an animal. Maybe a parrot might say that. I don't know, but not know what he's saying. But we are speaking these words, and therefore we get to decide what the words mean. So if we say animals are anything that's not human, that has, life and isn't a plant, then that's what we mean. I mean, if that's what we want it to mean. But if by animals, we mean the animal kingdom, and human beings are definitely part of the animal kingdom. And human beings are not any more special in many ways than any of the other animals on the earth. We're just smarter than they are. And it's not just individuals being smart, it's cultures being smart. If I always think about this idea that suppose you took a baby today born in the upper west side of Manhattan and from a billionaire parents, and you kidnapped them and brought them to Africa and raised them with primitive tribesmen who ate who eat off the land, or even by monkeys or whatever. Would that billionaire's child have any more, if he was raised by those people? Would he all of a sudden grow up and go to Harvard? I mean, that's an argument, that some people make. Oh, it's the bell curve and all that. But no, chances are, it's a crapshoot how smart you're going to come out. Okay, there's smart people born everywhere in every race in every country, and there's stupid people born around too. And there are pockets of genetic intelligence. There is, but it's less of genetic tendency to be smart than it is cultural tendency to be smart. That's the point I wanted to make. And we think we're so individually so great, but it's culture that is really what makes a group of people seem intelligent and seem able to dominate and thrive and survive. It's the culture that does it. And a lot of people in the United States have lost that concept a lot. They have. They've totally fallen off with this whole Donald Trump thing. You can, if you don't have a culture that sticks up for itself, if you don't think of the institutions as valuable, and you think that every man is just for himself, and if I'm good and tough and smart, I can make it, well, that's not going to help you, because you're not going to make it. You're just It's the culture that raises you. And I've seen a deterioration in the culture lately, I'm sorry to say. So let me just say that. So, animal, as an animal, I'm just lucky to be a human being and be smart. But I'm also lucky to be born in a culture in the United States. And by the way, part of what makes America great is the fact that it's a great piece of real estate. I mean, people don't understand that. When Columbus came over from Europe and the Europeans started coming into the United States and so forth, before the diseases took them out, the Indians got taken out by diseases. They were bigger and stronger and healthier than the Europeans. How could that be? Because they ate better than the Europeans did. The America is the land of plenty. It's a great piece of real estate. You know, I mean, that's just the truth. So with the culture and the real estate and what we're doing right now is we're beginning to say that culture is not important. That every person individually is able to figure things out individually for themselves, and we don't have to rely on institutions whatsoever. Well, that's the decline of. We're moving into a new dark age if people start thinking that. If you don't admire and develop the culture and try to, what is it, grow the culture and teach the culture and make the culture develop into a better thing instead of just thinking every man for himself, then we're heading for the new dark age. I'm sorry to say that. So that's my story. Okay.